In a time long ago, under a vast and peaceful sky, an emperor dreamed of a great wall that would stretch across the land like a quiet river. This wall was meant to bring calm to the empire, a soft barrier against the winds from the north. The people in the villages heard of this dream through whispers carried on gentle breezes, and they pondered it while tending to their fields of swaying grain. You, like many others, might have been a simple farmer or a quiet villager, living in harmony with the seasons. The emperor's vision was shared in calm proclamations, inviting folks to join in this grand yet serene endeavor. It was not a rush, but a slow unfolding, like the blooming of flowers in spring. Your role was to be part of this peaceful building, perhaps carrying smooth stones or mixing soft earth, all in the rhythm of the day. As you learned of the mandate, the world around you remained steady. The birds sang softly, the rivers flowed without hurry, and the sun rose each morning with a warm glow. The officials spoke in measured tones, explaining how the wall would protect the lands for generations, a legacy of tranquility. You could imagine the wall rising bit by bit, like a blanket being woven thread by thread. In this gentle beginning, there was time to reflect, to sit under the shade of ancient trees and think about the part you would play. The dream was vast, but your steps toward it were small and unhurried, leading you into a world of quiet purpose and endless horizons. In the quiet villages nestled among rolling hills and gentle streams, life moved at a slow and steady pace. Each morning, the sun would rise softly over the thatched roofs, casting a warm light on the path where villagers walked with unhurried steps. You might have woken to the distant crow of a rooster, stretching lazily before beginning the day's simple tasks. The fields stretched out like soft blankets of green, where grain swayed in the light breeze. Tending to them was a calm routine, planting seeds in neat rows, watering the earth with care, and watching as tiny sprouts emerged over time. Neighbors greeted each other with soft nods and quiet words, sharing stories of the weather or the harvest to come. Children played in the shade of old trees, their laughter faint and harmonious with the rustle of leaves. Evenings brought a peaceful close, with families gathering around modest meals of rice and vegetables, eaten slowly under the fading light. The air was filled with a subtle sense of cooking fires and blooming flowers, and as night fell, the stars appeared one by one in the vast sky. There was no rush, no great excitement, just the comforting rhythm of days blending into one another. Whispers of the emperor's dreams sometimes drifted through these serene places, carried by travelers on their way. But for now, the villages remained wrapped in their quiet ways, a haven of gentle living before any distant call might stir the air. The day came when you left your quiet village, setting out on a gentle journey toward the lands where the Great Wall would rise. The path ahead was long, winding through fields and over soft hills, but there was no hurry in your steps. The air was warm, and a light breeze carried the scent of wildflowers, soothing your thoughts as you walked. You carried a small bundle, perhaps with a soft cloth to wrap your feet and a few dried fruits tucked inside for the journey. The group moved slowly like a lazy river, with fellow travelers chatting in low tones or humming old songs. The road stretched beneath a wide sky, where clouds drifted like feathers, and the sun cast long, gentle shadows across the earth. At times you paused by a clear stream to sip water or rest under the shade of a broad tree. The earth was kind, offering soft grass to sit upon and the distant sound of birds to fill the silence. Those guiding the journey spoke calmly, pointing toward the horizon where the emperor's dream was taking shape. There was no rush, only a steady rhythm of steps, one after another, carrying you closer to the distant lands. As the night fell, you gathered with others around a small fire, its glow soft and flickering. Blankets were shared, and quiet stories passed the time, lulling you into a restful calm. The journey was long, but it felt like a slow unfolding, each step blending into the next, leading you gently toward the work that awaited. When you arrived at the lands where the Great Wall was to grow, the air was calm, filled with the faint hum of workers and the soft clink of tools. The landscape stretched wide, with rolling hills and scattered trees swaying gently under a pale blue sky. There was no rush, only a quiet invitation to find your place among the builders. The work camps were simple, with rows of tents and small fires dotting the ground like stars. You were shown to a spot where you could rest, a modest patch of earth softened by grass and shaded by a nearby tree. The others around you moved slowly, their voices low as they shared greetings or pointed out where to find water and bread. Everyone seemed to settle into the rhythm of the place, like leaves falling gently onto a stream. You were given a task, perhaps to carry smooth stones or to pat down soft earth. Nothing too hurried. The overseer spoke in even tones, explaining the work with patience, their words blending into the breeze. You found a spot near others, their faces kind and familiar, like neighbors from a distant village. Together, you arranged your tools and belongings, moving with care, as if arranging flowers in a garden. As the day faded, you sat with your new companions, sharing quiet stories of home under the glow of a lantern. The camp felt like a village of its own, peaceful and unhurried, with the promise of steady work under the open sky. You drifted into rest, lulled by the gentle sounds of the night and the thought of finding your place in this calm endeavor. In the soft light of dawn, the work of building the Great Wall began with a gentle rhythm. The tools you were given were simple, worn smooth by many hands before yours: a sturdy basket for carrying stones, a wooden spade for scooping earth, and a soft brush for smoothing surfaces. These were your companions in the quiet task ahead. The stones were heavy but smooth, warmed by the sun and cool to the touch in the shade. You learned to lift them slowly, letting their weight settle into your hands like a familiar friend. Each one was placed with care, fitting neatly against its neighbors, as if arranging pebbles along a riverbank. The work was unhurried, with time to pause and wipe the dust from your fingers. The earth, too, was kind, soft, and yielding under your spade. You scooped it gently, mixing it with water to form a thick, pliable mud that held the stones together. The task felt like tending a garden, patting the soil with a steady hand, watching it take shape under the open sky. Others worked nearby, their movements slow and deliberate, their soft murmurs blending with the breeze. You learned from those around you, watching how they balanced their tools or shifted their weight to save strength. There was no need for haste. The wall would grow in its own time, like a tree reaching for the sky. As the day ended, you set your tools down gently, feeling the calm satisfaction of work done with care, ready to rest under the stars. Each morning in the work camp began with the gentle touch of dawn as the first light crept over the hills and warmed the canvas of your tent. The air was cool and soft, carrying the faint scent of earth and dew, and you rose slowly, stretching your limbs in the quiet stillness. The Great Wall's construction had settled into rhythm as predictable as the rising sun, a soothing cycle of tasks that filled your days with calm purpose. You joined the others at the edge of the camp, where the stones and earth waited patiently. The overseers, with voices soft as a morning breeze, would call out the day's work, perhaps piling stones in neat rows or smoothing the ground for a new section of the wall. There was no hurry, only a steady flow of movement, like water finding its way through a stream bed. You carried your basket, its weave worn smooth by use, and filled it with stones that felt familiar under your fingers, each one a piece of the land you were helping to shape. The work was simple, repetitive, and comforting in its sameness. You might spend hours stacking stones, their surfaces cool in the shade and warm in the sun, arranging them as carefully as a weaver threads a loom. Other times you worked with the earth, scooping it with a wooden spade and mixing it with water until it became a soft, pliable mud. You pressed it gently between the stones, smoothing it with your hands, the texture grounding you in the moment. The wall grew slowly, inch by inch, its progress a quiet promise of permanence. Around you, your companions moved in the same unhurried dance. A woman nearby hummed a tune from her village, the notes blending with the rustle of leaves in the wind. A man paused to wipe his brow, offering a gentle smile as he passed you a water gourd. The group worked as one, each person's efforts folding into the next, like ripples spreading across a still pond. There was time to talk, to share soft words about the weather or a memory of home, and these moments wove a gentle bond among you all. Midday brought a pause, a chance to sit in the shade of a broad tree or a makeshift canopy. You shared simple meals, flat bread, a handful of dried fruit, perhaps a sip of thin soup, eaten slowly while watching clouds drift lazily across the sky. The overseer sat nearby, their presence calm and unobtrusive, sometimes joining in the quiet chatter. The break was a time to rest your hands, to feel the earth beneath you, and to let your thoughts wander like a leaf carried on the breeze. As the afternoon unfolded, you returned to your tasks, the rhythm unbroken. The sun moved slowly, casting long shadows that shifted across the growing wall. You might try a new task, like brushing dust from the stones to make them shine, or carrying water to mix with the earth. Each small action felt like part of a larger whole, a quiet contribution to something vast and enduring. The work was not heavy with urgency, but light with purpose, a steady beat that matched the pulse of the day. When evening came, the camp settled into a hush. You cleaned your tools with care, setting them down as if tucking them in for the night. The fires glowed softly, their light flickering like stars brought close to the earth. You sat with others, sharing stories in low voices or simply listening to the night's gentle sounds. Crickets chirping, a distant owl calling. The wall stood silently in the background, its stones catching the moonlight, a quiet reminder of the day's work. The routine days were a gift, their sameness a comfort that wrapped around you like a soft blanket. Each task, each moment flowed into the next, carrying you through the hours with ease. As you lay down to rest, the camp's quiet rhythm lulled you into a peaceful calm, ready for another day of steady, gentle work under the open sky. As the days on the Great Wall's building site flowed one into another, the seasons began their slow and gentle dance across the land. Spring arrived first, with its soft whispers of warmth, melting the last traces of winter's chill from the earth. The air grew milder, carrying the faint scent of budding flowers and fresh grass that sprouted between the stones. You watched as tiny leaves unfurled on the distant trees, their green a soothing hue against the pale sky. And the work continued in its steady way, undisturbed by the quiet changes. The mornings in spring were cool and dewy, with mist rising like a soft veil over the hills. You might pause for a moment while carrying a basket of earth, feeling the gentle dampness on your skin, a reminder of the rain that had fallen softly through the night. The overseers spoke in calm voices about the tasks ahead, and the group moved slowly, their tools making faint sounds that blended with the chirping of birds returning from faraway places. The wall grew a little each day, its stones warmed by the sun that peeked through scattered clouds, drifting lazily overhead. When summer came, it brought longer days filled with a steady warmth that wrapped around the camp like a familiar blanket. The sun rose early, casting golden light over the landscape, and you worked in the shade where possible, under broad canopies or the shadow of the growing wall itself. The heat was never harsh, just a constant presence that encouraged slow movements and frequent sips from water gourds passed among friends. Insects hummed in the grass, a low and rhythmic sound that lulled the mind, and wildflowers bloomed in patches of color, swaying gently in the breeze. Afternoons in summer often saw a soft haze settling over the distant mountains, blurring the edges of the world into a peaceful blur. You smoothed mud between stones, your hands moving in unhurried patterns, while others nearby shared quiet observations about the sky or the way the light shifted. Breaks were taken in the cooler parts of the day, sitting on soft grass with a piece of fruit or bread, watching butterflies flutter by without a care. The evenings stretched long, with the sun setting in a slow display of oranges and pinks, painting the wall in warm tones before night brought a gentle coolness. Autumn followed with its own serene grace, the leaves on the trees turning to shades of gold and red, falling one by one like whispers to the ground. The air grew crisp, carrying the scent of ripening fruits from nearby orchards, and you bundled a light cloth around your shoulders as you carried tools to the site. Winds blew softly, rustling the fallen leaves and stirring the dust in lazy swirls. But the work remained calm, a steady piling of stones and patting of earth that matched the season's unhurried pace. Mornings in autumn were often foggy, with a soft gray light that made the world feel cozy and enclosed. You watched the mist lift slowly, revealing the wall's progress bit by bit, and the group gathered around small fires for warmth, their conversations low and comforting. Rain came in gentle showers, soaking the ground without rush, and you paused under shelters, listening to the patter on the canvas above. The days shortened gradually, each one blending into the next with a quiet acceptance, the harvest moons rising full and luminous to light the evening tasks. Winter arrived last, wrapping the land in a hush of cool stillness. Snowflakes fell softly at times, blanketing the stones in a thin layer of white that sparkled under the weak sun. You wore thicker wraps, moving deliberately to keep warm, and the work focused on indoor preparations or sheltered spots where the wind whispered past without biting. Frost painted patterns on the ground each morning, intricate and fleeting, melting away as the day warmed ever so slightly. The short days of winter were filled with a peaceful quiet, the campfires glowing steadily against the early dusk. You shared hot broth with companions, sitting in circles where stories of past seasons were retold in soft tones. The wall stood resilient, its form enduring the weather's gentle touch, and you felt the cycle complete, knowing spring would return in its time. Through it all, the seasons passed by like pages in a well-worn book, each one turning slowly, bringing its own calm beauty to the steady rhythm of life on the building site. In the quiet routine of life at the Great Walls building site, meals became a gentle anchor, tying each day together with warmth and companionship. The food was simple, grown from the earth and shared among the workers, but in its modesty lay a soothing comfort that nourished both body and spirit. Each meal was a pause, a moment to sit and breathe under the wide, calm sky. Mornings began with a small portion of steamed millet or rice, served in wooden bowls that felt smooth in your hands. The grains were soft and warm, their faint sweetness mingling with the cool morning air. You sat with others on woven mats, the ground soft beneath you, and ate slowly, savoring each bite as the sun rose gently over the hills. Sometimes a sprinkle of dried herbs or a sliver of pickled vegetable added a quiet burst of flavor, a reminder of home gardens left behind. The act of eating was unhurried. The group gathered in loose circles, their voices low and melodic as they spoke of small things, the shape of a cloud, the sound of a distant stream, or a memory of a festival long past. A woman might pass a bowl to her neighbor, offering a soft smile, while a man nearby broke his bread in half to share with a newcomer. These moments of giving wove a gentle thread of kindness through the camp, making each meal a shared ritual. Midday brought a slightly heartier fare, perhaps a thin soup of greens and beans, simmered over small fires that crackled softly in the breeze. The broth was warm, its steam rising in delicate curls, and you sipped it from a shallow cup, feeling its warmth spread through you. Flatbreads baked on hot stones were passed around, their edges crisp but soft within, perfect for scooping a bit of stew or a dab of salted paste. You ate in the shade of a tree or beside the wall itself, its stones cool against your back, watching ants march in neat rows across the ground. The breaks were long enough to rest, to let your eyes wander over the rolling landscape or the faces of those around you. Someone might hum a tune, barely audible, while another pointed out a bird gliding lazily overhead. The food was plain, but the act of eating together turned it into something more, a quiet celebration of the day's work, a moment to feel connected to the earth and to each other. Evening meals were the most serene, taken as the sky turned soft shades of lavender and gold. A small fire glowed at the center of the group, its light flickering gently, casting warm shadows on the faces of your companions. The meal might be a handful of dried fruits, sweet and chewy, or a portion of roasted roots, their earthy flavor grounding you after a long day. Sometimes a rare treat like a piece of preserved fish or a sticky rice cake would appear, passed from hand to hand with quiet laughter. You sat close to the fire, wrapped in a light cloak, listening to the night settle around you. The stars began to peek through the sky, one by one, and the air carried the faint scent of smoke and cooling earth. Stories flowed easily now, told in hushed tones, tales of harvests, of rivers that sang in the moonlight, or of children playing in far-off villages. The food was simple, but it filled you with a sense of peace, each bite a reminder of the land's generosity. Between meals, there were moments of foraging, gentle and unhurried. You might wander a short distance from the camp, picking wild berries from low bushes or gathering tender green that grew near a stream. These small finds were shared with care, added to the communal pot or tucked into a pocket for later. The overseers, calm and watchful, sometimes joined in, pointing out a patch of herbs or offering a quiet word of thanks for the extra bounty. The days were long, but the meals broke them into gentle parts, each one a chance to rest, to share, and to find joy in the smallest things. As you finished your evening meal and lay down to sleep, the taste of simple grains or the warmth of shared soup lingered, lulling you into a restful calm. The wall grew steadily behind you, but it was these modest meals taken together under the open sky that made the days feel soft and whole. In the serene rhythm of life at the Great Wall's building site, tending to your wellness was a quiet act of care, as natural as the rising sun or the soft fall of evening. The days were filled with steady work, but there was always time to rest, to breathe, and to keep your body and spirit whole under the gentle expanse of the sky. Mornings began with a slow awakening as you rose from your simple bedding of woven mats or soft grass. You stretched your arms toward the sky, feeling the morning air cool against your skin, loosening your limbs with gentle movements. There was no rush, only a calm unfolding of the day, like petals opening to the light. A sip of water from a nearby gourd, cool and clear, refreshed you as you prepared for the tasks ahead. The work of building was steady but not harsh, and you learned to move with care, lifting stones with a smooth bend of the knees, or scooping earth with an easy rhythm. If your hands grew tired, you paused to rub them gently, letting the warmth of your own touch ease any stiffness. Others around you did the same, sharing quiet nods or soft words about how to carry a basket without strain, their voices blending with the hum of the camp. Rest was woven into the day like a soft thread. At midday, you found a spot in the shade, perhaps under a wide tree or beside the growing wall, and sat quietly, letting your breath slow to match the breeze. You might close your eyes for a moment, listening to the distant call of a bird or the rustle of leaves, feeling the earth steady beneath you. These pauses were brief but deep, a chance to let your body settle and your mind drift like a cloud across the sky. Water was your constant companion, always near in clay jars or gourds passed among the workers. You drank slowly, savoring its coolness, knowing it kept you strong. If a companion looked weary, you might offer them a sip from your own gourd, a small gesture that warmed the heart as much as the body. The overseers, calm and watchful, encourage these moments, sometimes bringing extra water or pointing out a clear stream nearby where you could rinse your face and feel refreshed. The food, though simple, nourished you well, grains and greens that filled you without weighing you down. You ate slowly, chewing each bite with care, letting the flavors of the earth ground you. If a day's work left you sore, you might rub your shoulders with a soft cloth or ask a friend to press gently on a tight muscle, their hands kind and steady. These small acts of care passed among the group like a quiet song, keeping everyone whole. Sleep came easily at night under the vast canopy of stars. You lay on your mat wrapped in a light blanket, the camp's soft sounds, crickets, a distant murmur of voices, lulling you into rest. If the air was cool, you moved closer to a small fire, its glow a gentle comfort. Dreams came softly, filled with images of fields and rivers, carrying you through the night until the morning's light woke you again. If ever you felt unwell, the camp had its own quiet remedies. A woman might offer a handful of herbs, steeped in hot water to make a soothing tea, while a man might show you how to wrap a sore ankle with a strip of cloth. The group looked after one another, sharing knowledge of rest and healing like they shared their meals. The overseers watched with care, ensuring no one pushed beyond their strength, their presence a steady reassurance. Through it all, the days passed with a gentle rhythm, each moment of rest and care a small gift. You learned to listen to your body, to move with ease, and to find peace in the simple acts of drinking, eating, and sleeping. The wall grew steadily in the background, but it was your own wellness, tended with quiet attention, that made each day feel soft and complete under the open sky. As the days unfolded at the Great Wall's building site, the people around you became a gentle presence, like the soft glow of lanterns in the evening. The workers, with their quiet smiles and steady hands, and the overseers, with their calm guidance, wove a tapestry of companionship that made each day feel warm and connected under the vast, open sky. In the mornings, you gathered with others near the piles of stones or the soft heaps of earth, exchanging quiet greetings as the sun rose gently. A woman might offer a nod as she passed you a basket, her eyes crinkling with kindness, while a man nearby might share a soft chuckle about the way the dew sparkled on the grass. These small moments of connection were as natural as the breeze, setting a peaceful tone for the work ahead. The overseers, ever present but never harsh, moved among the group with steady steps, their voices low and encouraging. One might pause to show you how to balance a heavy stone with ease, their hands guiding yours patiently, or point out a smoother path to carry your load. They spoke of the wall's purpose in gentle tones, describing it as a gift to the land, and their words made the work feel like a shared journey rather than a task. During the day, you work side by side with your companions, your movements blending into a quiet rhythm. A young worker might hum a tune from their village, the melody drifting softly over the site, inviting others to join in with a few notes or a smile. You might share a story of your home, a field of swaying grain, a festival under the stars, while another listened, adding their own tale of a river that shimmered in the moonlight. These exchanges were unhurried, flowing like a stream around the work of stacking stones or patting earth. Breaks were a time for deeper connection, as you sat together on soft grass or leaned against the wall's growing form. Someone might pass around a gourd of water, their fingers brushing yours with a gentle warmth, or offer a piece of bread with a quiet word of thanks for your help earlier. The group formed loose circles, faces lit by the sun or the soft glow of a fire, and the air filled with murmurs of laughter or tales of simple joys, children playing, markets bustling, or the smell of rain on distant fields. The overseers sometimes join these moments, sitting nearby with a calm presence. One might share a story of their own, perhaps of a journey across the hills, or a memory of a quiet village, their words weaving into the group's chatter like a soft thread. They listened as much as they spoke, nodding at your stories or offering a gentle suggestion for the next day's work, making you feel seen and valued. As evening settled over the camp, the companionship grew even softer, wrapped in the hush of twilight. You sat with friends around a small fire, its flames dancing gently, casting a warm light on familiar faces. The talk turned to dreams and hopes, spoken in whispers as the stars appeared above. A companion might describe their wish to see their family again, their voice steady but tender, while another spoke of planting a garden one day, their words painting a picture of green and peace. If a worker seemed weary or quiet, the group noticed, offering a kind word or a moment of shared silence. You might sit close to someone new, learning their name and the shape of their smile, or help an older worker carry a lighter load, your steps matching theirs in quiet harmony. The overseers watched these acts of care, sometimes stepping in to ensure everyone had a moment to rest, their guidance a steady anchor for the group. Through these connections, the camp felt like a village of its own, bound by small gestures and shared moments. The wall rose steadily in the background, but it was the kindness of your companions, their soft words, their gentle laughter, that made each day feel full and comforting. As you lay down to sleep, the memory of a friend's smile or an overseer's quiet encouragement lingered, lulling you into a peaceful rest under the endless sky. In the gentle rhythm of life at the Great Wall's building site, quiet moments came like a soft breeze, inviting calm reflection. These pauses, woven into the steady work, were like breaths of fresh air, letting you gaze at the wall and the world with a serene heart under the vast open sky. The camp, nestled among rolling hills, seemed to hum with a quiet peace, as if the earth itself was resting alongside you. As morning light spilled over the hills, you paused, hands resting on a smooth stone or a worn basket. The wall stretched before you, its rows of stones and packed earth rising slowly, a silent promise to the land. You traced a stone's texture, feeling its coolness under your fingers, and thought of the hands that had placed it there before you. The air was soft, carrying faint chirps of birds and the rustle of grass in the light breeze, the world unhurried, as if time itself slowed to match the rhythm of your breath. While working carrying earth or patting mud into place with careful hands, your mind wandered gently through peaceful thoughts. You imagined the wall's purpose, standing as a guardian for the villages you loved, its presence soothing like a lullaby sung in a quiet voice. Each task, no matter how small, felt like part of something lasting, something that would endure through the years. You moved with the group's rhythm, their soft hums or murmured words blending into the background, a gentle reminder that you were part of a shared effort, connected to others in this calm endeavor. Midday breaks offered a deeper chance to reflect. As you sat on the soft ground beneath a tree's wide branches or leaned against the wall's growing form, feeling its solid warmth against your back. The sun warmed your face gently, and you closed your eyes, letting the sounds of the camp wash over you. The soft clink of tools being set down, the gentle laughter of a companion, the whisper of wind moving through the hills like a sigh. Thoughts of home drifted in, a field of swaying crops under a blue sky, the glow of a lantern in a window at dusk, and these images wrapped around you like a warm shawl, comforting and familiar. You gazed at the wall, its stones catching the light in soft patterns of gray and brown, shadows shifting slowly across them. You wondered about the countless hands that would add to it over time, each leaving a quiet mark, a subtle imprint of care. The thought was comforting, like a story told by a fire on a cool evening, and it made your own work feel like a gentle gift to the future, something to be cherished in quiet ways. Sipping cool water from a gourd, you let your mind rest in the moment, free from hurry or care, feeling peace settle deeply within you. In the evenings, reflection came most naturally. You walked a short distance from the camp, your steps slow on the soft earth that cushioned each footfall, and found a quiet spot to watch the sunset. The sky turned to shades of lavender and gold, blending softly at the horizon, and the wall stood silhouetted, steady and calm, like a friend keeping watch through the night. You thought of the days you'd spent here, each one blending seamlessly into the next, and felt a quiet pride in the small part you played, a subtle contribution to this enduring structure. Companions often joined you in these moments, sitting nearby in silent understanding, their presence a comforting shadow. No words were needed. The shared stillness was enough, like a conversation carried on the breeze, a whisper of connection. An overseer might pass by, their presence calm and reassuring, and nod as if sharing your thoughts about the wall's slow growth, acknowledging your efforts with a subtle gesture. These moments bound you to the others, to the land with its gentle hills, and to the work itself in a quiet, unspoken way that felt as natural as breathing. As night fell, you lay on your mat, the stars above bright and endless, twinkling like distant lights in a vast sea. Reflections lingered, images of stones and earth, of companions' smiles, of the wall's quiet rise, floating through your mind like leaves on a calm stream. You thought of how each day's work added to something lasting, something that would stand under these same stars for years to come. The camp's gentle sounds, crickets chirping softly, a distant hum of voices, lulled you, and you drifted into sleep, wrapped in the peace of reflecting on the calm, steady work of building, a serenity that carried you through the night. At the Great Wall's building site, your thoughts often drifted like soft clouds to the home you left behind. These daydreams, gentle and unhurried, came as you worked or rested, wrapping you in memories of familiar places and faces, soothing your heart under the vast open sky. The camp, nestled among rolling hills, seemed to cradle these thoughts, as if the earth itself shared your quiet longing. As morning light spilled over the hills, you paused, hands resting on a smooth stone or a worn basket, and let your mind wander to your village. You pictured its narrow paths winding between houses, their roofs thatched with care, glowing in the dawn's soft light. The memory of a wooden gate creaking gently, or the scent of blooming jasmine by a neighbor's door floated in, as vivid as the breeze that brushed your face. The air was soft, carrying faint bird songs and the rustle of grass, blending with your thoughts of home in a calm, unhurried dance. While working, carrying earth or patting mud with steady hands, your mind roamed freely through familiar fields. You imagined the crops swaying under a blue sky, their green tips bending in the wind, or the sound of a stream gurgling near your old home. These thoughts were soothing, like a lullaby whispered by a loved one, making each task feel lighter, as if you carried a piece of home with you. You moved with the group's rhythm, their soft murmurs or hums weaving into your daydreams, a gentle reminder that others too held their homes in their hearts. Midday breaks brought deeper moments of longing as you sat under a tree's wide branches or leaned against the wall's growing form, its stones warm against your back. Closing your eyes, you saw your family's faces, smiles of children playing in the dust, the quiet nod of a parent by a fire. You recalled festivals under lantern-lit skies, the laughter echoing softly, and these images wrapped you like a warm blanket, comforting and familiar. The camp's sounds, tools clinking gently, companions chatting in low tones, wind whispering through hills, blended with your memories, grounding you in the present while letting you linger in the past. You thought of returning one day, walking those village paths again, your steps soft on the earth you knew so well. The wall rising steadily before you seemed to echo this hope, its stones a quiet promise of a future where you might go home. You imagined sharing stories of this place, the hills, the stars, the steady work. With those you loved, your words painting pictures as soft as the light on the wall's surface. Sipping water from a gourd, you rested in these daydreams, free from hurry, feeling peace settle deeply within. In the evenings, as the sky turned to shades of lavender and gold, your thoughts of home grew strongest. You walked a short distance from the camp, stepped slow on the soft earth, and found a quiet spot to watch the sunset. The wall stood silhouetted, steady and calm, like a bridge to the life you'd returned to. You pictured sitting by your village hearth, the fire's glow mirroring the one before you now, and felt a quiet hope in the small part you played here, knowing it brought you closer to that day. Companions often joined you, sitting nearby in silent understanding, their own thoughts likely drifting to their homes. No words were needed. The shared stillness was enough, like a conversation carried on the breeze, a whisper of shared longing. An overseer might pass, their presence calm, offering a nod as if they too knew the pull of home, acknowledging your quiet dreams. These moments bound you to the others, to the land with its gentle hills, and to the work in a soft, unspoken way that felt as natural as breathing. As night fell, you lay on your mat, stars twinkling above like lights from your village's past. Thoughts of home lingered, images of fields, faces, and quiet evenings, floating through your mind like leaves on a calm stream. You imagine walking home under these same stars, the wall's memory a gentle story to carry with you. The camp's sounds, crickets chirping softly, a distant hum of voices lulled you, and you drifted into sleep, wrapped in the peace of daydreams about returning, a serenity that carried you through the night. In the gentle rhythm of life at the Great Wall's building site, the memories you gathered settled softly in your heart, like leaves resting on a quiet stream. These tales, woven through days of steady work, were treasures of calm moments and shared bonds, soothing your spirit under the vast, open sky. The camp, nestled among rolling hills, seemed to cradle these stories, as if the earth itself cherished them, holding them close like a whispered secret. As morning light spilled over the hills, you paused, hands resting on a worn basket or a smooth stone, and let your mind drift to the days spent here. You recalled the first time you saw the wall's growing form, its rows of stones a quiet promise to the land, standing firm yet gentle. The memory of your hands shaping earth, soft and cool under your touch, felt vivid, as alive as the breeze carrying faint bird songs and the rustle of grass in the morning air. The world was unhurried, and these moments lingered, as if time paused to let you savor them, wrapping you in a calm embrace. While working, piling stones, or patting mud with careful hands, your thoughts wandered to tales shared with companions. You remembered a woman's soft laughter as she told of her village's harvest dance, her voice blending with the group's gentle hums, like a melody carried on the wind. Each task carried a story of a man who taught you to balance a load with ease, his smile warm, or a child's grin when you shared a piece of bread, their eyes bright with joy. These memories wove into your work, making each stone you placed feel like part of something lasting, a quiet gift to the future that would endure through time. Midday breaks deepened these reflections as you sat under a tree's wide branches or leaned against the wall, its stones warm against your back. Closing your eyes, you heard the camp's soft sounds, tools clinking gently as they were set down, companions murmuring in low tones, the wind whispering through the hills like a sigh. You recalled evenings by the fire, stories of far-off homes told in hushed voices, painting pictures of fields swaying under blue skies or rivers glinting in moonlight. These tales wrapped you like a warm shawl, familiar and comforting, tying you to the people and the land in a gentle bond. You thought of the wall itself, its stones catching the light in soft patterns of gray and brown, each one holding a memory of hands that placed it. You imagined others coming after you, seeing your work and adding their own, their stories joining yours in a quiet, endless chain. The thought was soothing, like a lullaby sung by a familiar voice, and it made your efforts feel like a gentle mark on time, something to be cherished in quiet ways. Sipping cool water from a gourd, you rested in these memories, free from hurry or care, feeling peace settle deeply within your heart. In the evenings, as the sky turned to shades of lavender and gold, blending softly at the horizon, you walked a short distance from the camp, your steps slow on the soft earth that cushioned each footfall. You found a quiet spot to watch the sunset, its colors spreading like a gentle watercolor. The wall stood silhouetted, steady and calm, a silent keeper of tales, and you thought of moments that stood out, a shared laugh over a spilled basket, a kind word from a friend, an overseer's calm nod as they passed. You pictured carrying these stories home, sharing them under starlit skies, your voice soft as you spoke of this place and its gentle days. Companions often joined you in these moments, sitting nearby in silent remembrance, as if they too gathered their own tales. No words were needed. The shared stillness was enough, like a story told on the breeze, a whisper of connection that needed no voice. An overseer might pass, their presence gentle and reassuring, offering a nod as if they knew the weight of these memories, acknowledging your shared journey with a subtle gesture. These moments bound you to the others, to the hills with their soft curves, and to the wall itself, in a quiet, unspoken way that felt as natural as breathing. As night fell, you lay on your mat, the stars above bright and endless, twinkling like lights from these days. Memories lingered, images of stones and earth, of companion smiles, of quiet evenings by the fire, floating through your mind like petals on a calm stream. You thought of how these tales would stay with you, carried home to blend with new stories under the same stars that shone above the wall. The camp's gentle sounds, crickets chirping in soft harmony, a distant hum of voices, lulled you, and you drifted into sleep, wrapped in the peace of lasting memories from the wall, a serenity that carried you gently through the night. Your thoughts sometimes turned to the future, drifting like soft clouds across a calm sky. These visions, unhurried and serene, came as you worked or rested, wrapping you in dreams of what lay ahead, soothing your heart under the vast, open sky. The camp, nestled among rolling hills, seemed to inspire these musings, as if the earth itself whispered of times to come, holding promises in its quiet embrace. As morning light spilled over the hills, you paused, hands resting on a smooth stone or a worn basket, and let your gaze wander to the horizon. You imagine the wall complete, stretching endlessly like a quiet river through the landscape, its stones a silent guardian for generations yet unborn. The thought of travelers pausing to admire it, their eyes wide with wonder at its majesty, felt vivid, as alive as the breeze carrying faint bird songs and the rustle of grass in the morning air. The world was unhurried, and these visions lingered, as if time stretched out to let you explore them fully, without any rush or demand. While working, carrying earth or patting mud with steady hands, your mind roamed freely to days yet to be. You pictured returning home, the familiar paths winding under your feet, sharing tales of this place with wide-eyed listeners around a warm hearth. Each task, simple and calm in its repetition, seemed to build not just the wall, but a legacy of peace, a quiet gift to those who would walk beside it in years to come. You moved with the group's rhythm, their soft hums and murmured conversations blending seamlessly into your daydreams. A gentle reminder that your efforts echoed far into the future, connecting past, present, and tomorrow. Midday breaks brought deeper glimpses of tomorrow as you sat under a tree's wide branches or leaned against the wall's growing form, its stones warm against your back like a comforting friend. Closing your eyes, you saw villages thriving in safety, children playing freely without fear, the land blooming under a benevolent sky filled with soft clouds. Thoughts of your own life unfolding, gardens tended with care, families gathered in harmony, seasons passing in gentle cycles, wrapped you like a warm shawl, comforting and hopeful in their simplicity. The camp's sounds, tools clinking gently as they were set down, companions chatting in low tones about small things, wind whispering through the hills like a soft sigh, blended with your visions, grounding you in the present while letting your spirit soar quietly ahead. You thought of the wall enduring countless seasons, its surface weathered yet strong, a testament to the many hands that shaped it with patience. You imagined stories passed down through families, your name perhaps forgotten, but your work remembered in quiet legends told by firesides. The thought was soothing, like a lullaby for the ages, lulling the mind with its rhythm, and it made each stone you placed feel like a gentle step toward eternity, a small but meaningful part of something vast. Sipping cool water from a gourd, you rested in these futures, free from any hurry or care, feeling peace settle deeply within your soul, like a river finding its bed. In the evenings, as the sky turned to shades of lavender and gold, blending softly at the horizon, your gaze turned to what lay beyond the visible. You walked a short distance from the camp, stepped slow on the soft earth that cushioned each footfall, and found a quiet spot to watch the sunset paint the world in warm hues. The wall stood silhouetted against the fading light, steady and calm, like a bridge connecting today to tomorrow. You envisioned peace spreading across the land, nomads turning to friends in mutual understanding, the empire flourishing in harmony under endless skies. You felt a quiet joy in contributing to this vision, knowing your days here paved the way for an endless calm that would touch many lives. Companions often joined you in these contemplative moments, sitting nearby in silent harmony, their own dreams of the future perhaps mirroring yours in subtle ways. No words were needed. The shared stillness was enough, like a vision carried on the breeze, a whisper of hope that bound hearts together. An overseer might pass by, their presence calm and reassuring, offering a nod as if they too saw the distant horizons ahead, acknowledging your shared path with a subtle gesture of understanding. These moments bound you to the others, to the land with its gentle hills and valleys, and to the work itself in a soft, unspoken way that felt as natural as breathing, as eternal as the stars. Your thoughts sometimes turn to the future, drifting like soft clouds across a calm sky. These visions, unhurried and serene, came as you worked or rested, wrapping you in dreams of what lay ahead, soothing your heart under the vast, open sky. The camp, nestled among rolling hills, seemed to inspire these musings, as if the earth itself whispered of times to come, holding promises in its quiet embrace. As morning light spilled over the hills, you paused, hands resting on a smooth stone or a worn basket, and let your gaze wander to the horizon. You imagine the wall complete, stretching endlessly like a quiet river through the landscape, its stones a silent guardian for generations yet unborn. The thought of travelers pausing to admire it, their eyes wide with wonder at its majesty, felt vivid, as alive as the breeze carrying faint bird songs and the rustle of grass in the morning air. The world was unhurried, and these visions lingered, as if time stretched out to let you explore them fully, without any rush or demand. While working, carrying earth or patting mud with steady hands, your mind roamed freely to days yet to be. You pictured returning home, the familiar paths winding under your feet, sharing tales of this place with wide-eyed listeners around a warm hearth. Each task, simple and calm in its repetition, seemed to build not just the wall, but a legacy of peace, a quiet gift to those who would walk beside it in years to come. You moved with the group's rhythm, their soft hums and murmured conversations blending seamlessly into your daydreams. A gentle reminder that your efforts echoed far into the future, connecting past, present, and tomorrow. Midday breaks brought deeper glimpses of tomorrow as you sat under a tree's wide branches or leaned against the wall's growing form, its stones warm against your back like a comforting friend. Closing your eyes, you saw villages thriving in safety, children playing freely without fear, the land blooming under a benevolent sky filled with soft clouds. Thoughts of your own life unfolding, gardens tended with care, families gathered in harmony, seasons passing in gentle cycles, wrapped you like a warm shawl, comforting and hopeful in their simplicity. The camp's sounds, tools clinking gently as they were set down, companions chatting in low tones about small things, wind whispering through the hills like a soft sigh, blended with your visions, grounding you in the present while letting your spirit soar quietly ahead. You thought of the wall enduring countless seasons, its surface weathered yet strong, a testament to the many hands that shaped it with patience. You imagined stories passed down through families, your name perhaps forgotten, but your work remembered in quiet legends told by firesides. The thought was soothing, like a lullaby for the ages, lulling the mind with its rhythm, and it made each stone you placed feel like a gentle step toward eternity, a small but meaningful part of something vast. Sipping cool water from a gourd, you rested in these futures, free from any hurry or care, feeling peace settle deeply within your soul, like a river finding its bed. In the evenings, as the sky turned to shades of lavender and gold, blending softly at the horizon. Your gaze turned to what lay beyond the visible. You walked a short distance from the camp, stepped slow on the soft earth that cushioned each footfall, and found a quiet spot to watch the sunset paint the world in warm hues. The wall stood silhouetted against the fading light, steady and calm, like a bridge connecting today to tomorrow. You envisioned peace spreading across the land, nomads turning to friends in mutual understanding, the empire flourishing in harmony under endless skies. You felt a quiet joy in contributing to this vision, knowing your days here paved the way for an endless calm that would touch many lives. Companions often joined you in these contemplative moments, sitting nearby in silent harmony, their own dreams of the future perhaps mirroring yours in subtle ways. No words were needed. The shared stillness was enough, like a vision carried on the breeze, a whisper of hope that bound hearts together. An overseer might pass by, their presence calm and reassuring, offering a nod as if they too saw the distant horizons ahead, acknowledging your shared path with a subtle gesture of understanding. These moments bound you to the others, to the land with its gentle hills and valleys, and to the work itself in a soft, unspoken way that felt as natural as breathing, as eternal as the stars. The journey home unfolded like a soft dream, guiding you back to familiar lands with a calm heart. Each step, unhurried and tender, carried you through hills and fields, wrapping you in the quiet anticipation of return under the vast open sky. The world seemed to welcome you, its breezes and soft earth whispering a gentle homecoming. As morning light spilled over the rolling landscape, you paused, hands free of the basket or stone you once carried, and gazed at the path ahead. The memory of the wall lingered, its rows of stones a quiet echo in your mind, a steady presence that had shaped your days. You thought of its strength, standing firm for the land, and felt a soft pride in the work you left behind. The air was gentle, carrying faint bird songs and the rustle of grass, and the world felt serene, as if time slowed to let you savor the journey back. Walking along the winding trails, your steps soft on the earth, your mind wandered to the village awaiting you. You pictured its familiar houses, their roofs glowing in the dawn, and the faces of those you loved, their smiles warm as the sunlight. Each mile brought you closer, and the thought was soothing, like a lullaby hummed by a familiar voice. You moved with a quiet rhythm, the sounds of the countryside, crickets in the grass, a distant stream's murmur, blending with your thoughts, a reminder that home was near, waiting to enfold you. Midday rest brought moments of reflection as you sat under a tree's wide branches or on a soft patch of grass beside a quiet road. Closing your eyes, you heard the world's gentle sounds, a breeze whispering through leaves, a bird calling softly, the hum of life continuing its calm cycle. You thought of the camp, its fires and friendships, and how those days had woven a story you'd carry forever. Images of your village floated in, a garden blooming with flowers, children laughing in the dust, and wrapped you like a warm shawl, comforting and familiar. You imagined stepping through your village gate, the earth firm underfoot, and seeing the fields you once tended, now swaying under the same sky that watched over the wall. The tales you'd share, of stones placed with care, of evenings under stars, of companions' kind words, felt like treasures, ready to spill softly from your lips. Resting with a sip of water from a flask, you let these thoughts settle, free from hurry, feeling peace weave through you like a gentle thread, tying the wall to the home ahead. In the evenings, as the sky turned to shades of lavender and gold, You found a quiet spot to watch the sunset, its colors spreading like a gentle painting. The path stretched before you, steady and calm like a friend guiding you home. You thought of the wall standing tall behind you, its stones holding your efforts in silent memory, and felt a quiet joy in knowing your work would endure. You pictured your home's hearth, its glow mirroring the camp's fires, and the stories you'd tell under its light, each one a soft bridge between past and present. Companions from the road, travelers like you, sometimes joined you, their presence a quiet echo of the camp's bonds. No words were needed. Their shared silence was enough, like a farewell carried on the breeze, a whisper of journeys converging. A passing farmer might offer a nod, their eyes kind, as if sensing your return, acknowledging your path with a subtle gesture. These moments bound you to the world, to its fields and skies in a soft, unspoken way, as natural as breathing. As night fell, you lay on the ground, stars twinkling above like lights from both the camp and home. Memories of the wall mingled with thoughts of return, images of stones, laughter in the path ahead, floating through your mind like petals on a calm stream. You thought of stepping into your village, the same stars watching over you, and how the wall's story would live in your heart, a gentle chapter of your life. The night sounds, crickets chirping softly, a distant owl's call, lulled you, and you drifted into sleep, wrapped in the peace of a quiet return, a serenity carrying you gently toward the home, waiting just beyond the horizon. As you journeyed away from the Great Wall's building site, the world opened like a quiet book, its pages filled with the soft glow of new possibilities. Each step toward home was a gentle turn, leading you through landscapes bathed in a mellow calm, stirring dreams of what lay ahead under the endless sky. The fields and paths, stretching far and wide, seemed to shimmer with a promise, their quiet beauty a balm for your weary soul. In the early morning, as dawn's first light brushed the hills with gold, you stopped to rest, your hands free of the stones and tools of the camp. The air was cool, laced with the faint scent of dew-kissed grass, and you let your eyes wander to the horizon, where the sky met the earth in a soft blur. You thought of the wall, its steady form fading into memory, and felt a quiet warmth for the days spent there. The world was still, save for the gentle chirp of a waking sparrow or the rustle of leaves in a passing breeze, and it felt as if the morning held its breath, waiting for your next step. Walking along the winding trails, your boots sinking slightly into the soft earth, your mind drifted to the life awaiting you. You imagined your village, its houses huddled under familiar trees, their branches swaying as if waving you home. The thought of stepping through its gates, of hearing the low hum of daily life, children laughing, neighbors calling softly, settled over you like a warm cloak. You moved slowly, savoring the rhythm of your steps, the world's sounds, a distant dog's bark, the trickle of a hidden stream, blending into a soothing hum that carried you forward. At midday, you found a spot to rest, settling on a grassy rise or under the dappled shade of an ancient oak. The sun hung high, its light soft and golden, and you leaned back, letting the earth cradle you. Your thoughts turned to new beginnings, to the days you'd spend planting seeds in your fields or sitting by a fire with loved ones, sharing quiet moments. You pictured laughter spilling out like light from a lantern, illuminating the nights ahead. The breeze carried the scent of wild herbs, and you closed your eyes, letting the world's gentle pulse, crickets stirring, leaves whispering, wash over you, a reminder that life was unfolding anew. You thought of the wall's legacy, not as stones, but as a bridge to this moment. Its lessons of patience and care shaping your path. You saw yourself tending a garden, each sprout a small echo of the work you'd done, or teaching a child to stack stones, their hands small but eager. These visions were mellow, like the glow of dusk, and they made your journey feel like a quiet step into a brighter future. Taking a sip from your flask, you let these dreams settle, unhurried, feeling a calm hope rise within, like a star appearing in the evening sky. As twilight fell, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose, you paused on a hill to watch the day fade. The horizon glowed faintly, as if lit by distant lanterns, guiding you home. The wall was far behind, but its spirit lingered, a reminder of community, of steady hands working together. You imagined your village at night, its windows aglow with soft light, and felt a gentle pull toward those familiar hearths. The land stretched out, calm and inviting, its shadows softening as stars began to peek through the sky, each one a quiet promise of tomorrow. Travelers passing by offered quiet nods, their silhouettes blending with the dusk, as if they too carried dreams of new beginnings. Their presence was a comfort, a silent, shared hope, like candles lit in different homes, yet burning with the same light. A farmer driving a cart might glance your way, his face lined with a kind smile, as if he knew the weight of your journey. These encounters wove you into the world's gentle fabric, tying you to its paths and skies in a way that felt as easy as a sigh. As night deepened, you lay on the soft ground, the stars above a canopy of distant lights, each one a spark of possibility. Thoughts of home and future mingled, images of fields blooming, voices calling your name, nights filled with quiet joy, drifting through your mind like fireflies in a summer field. You thought of the life you'd build, rooted in the calm strength you'd found at the wall, its lessons glowing softly in your heart. The night sounds, a soft owl hoot, a gentle breeze, cradled you, and you slipped into sleep, wrapped in the mellow peace of distant lights, a calm that carried you gently toward the new beginnings, waiting just beyond the dawn. As you walked away from the Great Wall's building site, the path home unfolded like a gentle stream, carrying you through a world alive with quiet wisdom. Each step, soft and unhurried, revealed lessons learned in the camp, now blooming in your heart, soothing your soul under the vast, open sky. The hills and fields, stretching wide, seemed to murmur their own teachings, their calm presence a guide for the days ahead. In the morning's tender light, as dawn painted the horizon with hues of peach and gold, you paused, hands empty of the camp's tools, and let the world's quiet voice speak. The air was cool, scented with dew and distant pine, and you felt the wall's lessons settle within you. Patience in every stone placed, care in every handful of earth. You thought of how the work taught you to move slowly, to find strength in stillness, and the memory was as clear as the soft chirp of a lark rising from the grass. The world felt gentle, as if it paused to share its secrets with you, treading along quiet trails, your steps light on the earth. Your mind wandered to the wisdom gained among companions. You recalled moments of shared silence, when a glance or a nod spoke more than words, teaching you the value of presence. You thought of an elder's advice to rest when weary, or a youth's joy in simple tasks, showing you that small acts hold great meaning. Each lesson was a soft note, like a lullaby carried on the breeze, and you walked with the world's rhythm, its sounds, a rustling bush, a trickling creek, blending with your thoughts, guiding you toward home. At midday, you rested on a soft rise or under a willow's drooping branches, its leaves swaying like whispered advice. The sun warmed your face, and you closed your eyes, hearing the earth's gentle hum, bees buzzing, a breeze stirring tall grass. You reflected on the camp's teachings, how to listen to others' needs, how to find balance in effort and rest. You saw these lessons in your village's future: patience in tending crops, kindness in greeting neighbors, calm in facing life's changes. These thoughts wrapped you like a warm cloak, steady and comforting, rooting you in the wisdom you'd carry forward. You imagined living these lessons, your days shaped by the quiet strength of the wall's work. You pictured teaching a child to wait for seeds to sprout, or sharing a story of the camp's unity with a friend, your words soft as evening light. The thought was soothing, like a tale told by a river's edge, and it made your journey feel like a gentle unfolding of purpose, each step a chance to live the wall's wisdom. Sipping water from a flask, you rested in these reflections, unhurried, feeling a calm clarity settle within, like sunlight filtering through leaves. As evening fell, the sky blushing with shades of rose and amber, you paused on a gentle slope to watch the day's end. The horizon glowed softly, as if lit by the wisdom you carried, and you thought of the wall, its stones a quiet reminder of lessons learned. You envisioned a life where patience guided your hands, where kindness shaped your words, creating a home as steady as the wall itself. The land stretched out, calm and inviting, its shadows lengthening like thoughts stretching toward tomorrow. Travelers on the path sometimes passed, their quiet steps a mirror of your own, as if they too carried lessons from their journeys. Their presence was a comfort, a shared understanding, like candles glowing in distant windows. A herder might offer a glance, his eyes crinkling with a knowing smile, as if he sensed the wisdom you held. These encounters wove you into the world's gentle rhythm, tying you to its paths and skies in a way that felt as easy as a breath. As night deepened, you lay on the soft earth, stars sparkling above like fragments of the lessons you'd learned. Thoughts of the wall's teachings mingled with dreams of home, images of patient work, shared kindness, and quiet strength, drifting through your mind like fireflies in a dusk field. You thought of how these lessons would shape your days, guiding you under these same stars. The night sounds, a soft frog's croak, a gentle wind, cradled you, and you slipped into sleep, wrapped in the mellow peace of whispered lessons, a calm that carried you gently toward the life waiting ahead. As you continued your path from the Great Wall's building site, the inner world of thoughts and feelings began to unfold like a quiet meadow, inviting you to explore its depths with a mellow ease. Each moment of reflection was a soft breath, drawing you closer to a sense of harmony, soothing your mind under the vast open sky. The landscapes around you, with their rolling forms and subtle colors, seemed to mirror this inner peace, their presence a gentle companion on your way home. In the morning's soft glow, as light filtered through a veil of mist over the valleys, you stopped to sit on a fallen log, your hands idle for the first time in ages. The air held a hint of fresh rain, mingling with the earthy aroma of moss, and you let your thoughts turn inward, to the calm that had grown within you during the days at the camp. You pondered the quiet resilience you discovered, like a hidden spring bubbling up, and the memory brought a subtle warmth. The world was hushed, broken only by the faint call of a dove or the drip of dew from a leaf, and it felt as if your heart beat in time with this serene pulse. Strolling through open meadows, your steps light on the springy turf, your mind meandered to the subtle shifts in your spirit. You recalled times of doubt at the wall, eased by a deep breath or a moment of stillness, teaching you to trust the flow of life. You thought of how small rituals, watching the sunrise, feeling the ground steady beneath you, had become anchors of tranquility. These insights were mellow, like the sun's rays warming a stone, and you walked with the earth's gentle sway, its sounds, a butterfly's flutter, a grasshopper's chirp, merging with your inner dialogue, fostering a deeper sense of balance. At midday, you sought shade beneath a cluster of wild roses, their petals unfurling in quiet beauty, and leaned back against a boulder smoothed by time. The sun cast a golden haze, and you closed your eyes, tuning into the whispers of your own breath, steady and reassuring. You reflected on the camp's quiet gifts, learning to release worries like leaves in a stream, or finding joy in the simplest sights, a flower blooming amid stones. These lessons echoed softly, shaping visions of a home life filled with mindful pauses. Savoring a meal, gazing at clouds, enwrapped you like a soft veil, nurturing and profound. You envisioned carrying this inner calm forward, letting it guide your interactions, turning conversations into gentle exchanges or challenges into opportunities for growth. These ideas were soothing, like the murmur of a hidden brook, and they made your path feel like a serene exploration of self, each stride a step toward greater poise. Drawing a deep breath of the scented air, you lingered in these contemplations, without haste, sensing a tranquil clarity bloom inside, like light spreading through a misty dawn. As twilight descended, draping the world in veils of indigo and silver, you halted by a tranquil pond, its surface mirroring the fading day. The horizon softened, and you thought of the wall as a symbol of your inner fortitude. Its walls not of stone, but of composed thoughts and steady emotions. You pictured evenings at home, where this calm would foster deeper connections, listening fully to a loved one's words, or finding solace in solitude. The land lay peaceful, its contours blurring in the dim light, stars emerging one by one as quiet affirmations. Fellow wayfarers occasionally appeared, their forms silhouetted against the dusk, offering a shared glance that spoke of mutual introspection. Their company was subtle, a nod to the inner journeys we all undertake, like lanterns glowing faintly in the night. A lone wanderer might pause nearby, his posture relaxed as if he too delved into his own quiet depths. These meetings integrated you into the world's mellow flow, linking you to its rhythms and mysteries in a way that felt as effortless as a dream. As darkness enveloped the land, you reclined on a bed of ferns, the stars overhead a tapestry of silent wonders. Inner whispers persisted, reflections on resilience, on embracing change with grace, on the beauty of quiet awareness, wafting through your consciousness like mist over water. You considered how this cultivated peace would illuminate your return, enriching everyday moments under familiar skies. The night's chorus, a soft rustle of nocturnal creatures, a whisper of wind, enveloped you and you eased into slumber, enveloped in the mellow serenity of gentle whispers, a calm that bore you softly into visions of a harmonious tomorrow. The Great Wall's construction unfolded like a slow, harmonious dance, blending human effort with the land's quiet gifts. Each day, under a vast and peaceful sky, workers moved with unhurried grace, shaping a barrier that would stand for centuries, its methods a testament to thoughtful organization and simple wisdom. The hills and plains, stretching wide, seemed to cradle this endeavor, their calm presence echoing the dynasty's steady approach to building. As morning light spilled softly over the landscape, You might have paused, hands resting on a wooden board or a basket of earth, and let your thoughts drift to the ways of the Ming. The emperors, wise in their vision, organized the work with care, drawing labor from soldiers, farmers, and even those seeking redemption, all woven into a vast network of camps along the northern frontier. The air was mild, carrying faint scents of damp soil and distant pines, and the world felt serene, as if time allowed for each task to unfold naturally, without rush. While gathering materials, your steps soft on the ground, you considered how local resources were key to the dynasty's methods. Stones quarried from nearby mountains, bricks fired in kilns close to the sites, and earth tamped between wooden frames, all chosen with a gentle respect for the land. Workers layered rammed earth, a mixture of soil, clay, sand, and gravel, compacted layer by layer, forming solid cores that blended seamlessly with the terrain. These techniques were soothing in their repetition, like a lullaby repeated through the ages, and you moved with the group's rhythm, their low murmurs blending with the sounds of tamping rods, steady thuds that echoed like a heartbeat. At midday, resting under a tree's wide branches or beside a stack of adobe bricks, the sun warmed your face gently. You reflected on the organization. Overseers, calm and methodical, divided tasks into sections, with garrisons overseeing supply lines that stretched like quiet rivers from the heart of the empire. Bricks molded from clay and fired to durability were laid with lime mortar, a sticky blend that bound them firmly, yet allowed for the walls' graceful curves over hills. Watchtowers rose at intervals, simple structures of stone and wood for signaling with smoke or fire, ensuring messages traveled swiftly along the vast expanse. These elements wrap the work in a sense of order, comforting and structured, like a well-tended garden growing day by day. You thought of how the Ming's innovations, born from earlier dynasties but refined with care, included pilings and planks for foundations in softer ground, or mixtures of brick and stone for added strength against invaders from the north. Labor was rotated to ease burdens, with provisions of rice and tools distributed evenly, fostering a quiet unity among the crews. These practices were mellow, like the flow of a stream finding its way, and they made the construction feel like a shared meditation, each brick a small act of enduring harmony. Sipping water from a gourd, you lingered in these contemplations, unhurried, sensing a tranquil wisdom in the dynasty's balanced ways. As evening approached, the sky turning to shades of lavender and gold, you walked along a completed section, steps slow on the packed path. The wall stood steady, its form a silent tribute to the Ming's thoughtful planning. Barracks nestled within for rest, beacon towers for vigilance, all integrated into the natural contours of mountains and valleys. You pictured the emperor's decrees, issued from distant Beijing, guiding the work with maps and edicts that emphasized endurance over haste, creating a legacy as calm as the rivers that fed the empire's heart. Companions worked nearby, their movements a shared quiet, as if the dynasty's spirit bound everyone in a web of gentle purpose. No grand gestures were needed. The stillness of the labor was enough, like a conversation held in whispers. An overseer might pass, offering a nod of approval, their presence a reminder of the organized flow from court to frontier. These moments connected you to the larger whole, to the dynasty's enduring vision, in a soft, unspoken way, as natural as the setting sun. As night fell, you lay on your mat, stars twinkling above like lights from the Ming's golden era. Thoughts of the wall's craft lingered, images of tamped layers, brick bonds and organized crews, drifting through your mind like petals on a calm stream. You considered how these methods, refined over decades, would protect the realm in quiet strength under these same stars. The night sounds, crickets chirping softly, a distant wind sigh, lulled you, and you drifted into sleep, wrapped in the mellow peace of the Ming Dynasty's gentle craft, a serenity carrying you through the night.